Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another Friday Eve production of the Sideline Junkies Network. We have a very special show we always feature on Friday Eve. There's a guy there in the corner named the Gentleman Jack. There's a guy on the other side called the Big Guy KG. They call me the Midnight Rider. And what we do on Friday Eve is we talk about some things. We have a nice little discussion. We have a little round table. We go back and forth. We got a little top four for you today. We got a couple other things. But before we even start doing that, we got to make you know a little something about today. See, today we do a show. Tomorrow in the morning, there'll be people at a counter, probably making some eggs, doing some things, talking about life. There'll be people at the coffee maker making concoctions, drinking tea, and all that other stuff. There's gonna be people standing outside smoking cigarettes, and they're gonna have one topic in mind, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, you know those sideline junkies? They do this show on Friday Eve. It's the Thursday night throwdown. Yeah, baby. And that's what we're bringing to you, baby. And that's what they're going to talk about tomorrow. And with that being said, I'm turning this over to the host, KG.
That right there is what we wanted, what we needed. Welcome, everybody. Gentleman Jack, Midnight Rider, Big Guy KG sitting in here. How y'all gentlemen feeling tonight?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Oh, I'm feeling wonderful. Before we get started, I got to do this because what I was going to do, I couldn't do it because she had to go. So today, March 6th, a day that goes down as probably one of the greatest days of all time. It's when the one and only Meatloaf was born. See, y'all didn't get to see her like this. You didn't get to see her like this. That's Meatloaf. That's overload of cuteness right there. That's my Meatloaf. You know. Of course, you've heard her on the show.
So cute.
She's been on the WrestleManiacs. She's been on every show. Then, of course, you know, her and her sunglasses. Gotta have her glasses. She turned 4 years old today. 4.
Awesome.
And this is what we do. I've already told her mom and her dad that she's not going to school from the 17th through April 5th, because we got games to watch, and I'm trying to get the Winnebago out of storage, get it gassed up, get it cleaned up, so me and her can travel around the country and hit all these daggone games. Because that's my NCAA basketball tournament partner. When I was working at one of my old jobs, I would come home during the day or I'd be off for the tournament because that's how I made my schedule. And she would lay across the bed with me. This had to be, let me see, we say 4 years. This is 22. She laid across the bed and she watched the games with me and would sit there and watch all the games. So we do that every year. She watches every game with me. I have game on the phone, game on the tablet, game on the computer, game on the TV. So I got all the games going at once. That's what we do. We're going to be around the country this year, baby. So happy birthday to Meatloaf.
Happy birthday, Meatloaf.
University Athletics.
Now, let's get off in this thing, fellas. I call this segment Pump Your Brakes. Now, I'm calling this Pump Your Brakes. Nobody knows where this is going. Nobody knows what this is talking about. So, fellas, pull my coat and follow me on this one. We got a lot of people being released. We got trade rumors out there. The receiver from the Rams, what's his name? Atwell.
Tutu Atwell, 1 year, $10 million.
$10 million. Somebody said, "Oh, well, we need to sign him. See you later, Dayami." And somebody else commented and said, "Bro, why don't we wait until Dayami gets to the last year of his deal before we start talking about giving him $10 million?" He's not that good anyway. I'm like, what are you talking about? You got that. Then you got Bosa being released in LA. First thing I seen, oh man, we need to go ahead and pick him up. You got Devontae Adams being released. Oh man, we need to go ahead and pick him up. DK Metcalf. Oh man, we need to go ahead and trade for him. Pump your brakes. Everybody wants to get out of that PTSD. And Ross coined this, so shout out to Ross Rudder for this one. He coined this phrase, and I mean it's true. Everybody wants to get away from the PTSD. You say what?
Who's Ross?
Ross. Thanos. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Thanos coined this phrase. I am sorry.
We're in the show. Like if we were on WhatsApp, you said Ross, I'd have been like, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Different. And we got Jack Wagner checking in. What's going on, Jack Wagner? J Dub. Richard checking in. What's good? How you feeling? Daughter says, thanks, guys. You know we got you. Meatloaf a part of the show. She probably the youngest intern we got right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But
hopefully stay that way.
Here's the thing. You can't say you want to learn from the past, but yet you want to do the things that you did in the past. You want to go get every shiny new free agent and bring them in and give them a $100 million contract. You can't do that. I can't with these people. And I said these people. I can't with them. I can't win with them. Can't work with them. Can't even be in a fandom with them. Because every shiny new thing, you say, hey, we need to focus on getting Terry paid this year. Ooh, something nice over. Is that a butterfly?
But we do that all the time, KG. We do that all the time. And we've been how should you say this? Been the laughing stock of the free agent stuff for the past 15 years. You know, you can go all the way back to Deion's and the Bruce Smiths, and we've always been, ooh, I want him. Ooh, I want him. You know that.
The sad part about it, Jack, when are we going to get out of that mind frame and say, hey, we got all these draft picks. We're going to get more draft picks. Well, another draft pick at least. If we able to move if we may able to move John Allen, that's another draft pick coming.
I think we can move him to get one of these ball players, man. I mean, I'd roll him over for Hendrickson. I'd roll him over for Bosa.
You can't. You're not gonna be able to. Because the draft class, this draft class at D tackle is so strong that you gotta hope that you can get a draft swap for John Allen. You're not gonna be able to get, and if you do get something, I'll eat crow. But the problem with Hendrickson is they're trying to get out of money, so you can't add money. You can't add $16 million to your D tackle, so that's why he would be out of the equation for that. But they could probably still make a trade involving picks, probably a 1 this year, maybe a 2 this year, and maybe something next year on a conditional basis. So that way, because you got to pay him.
Yeah, Hendricks is different. I'm sorry, Bosa is actually a free agent,
right?
So I would be sniffing all over him.
I mean, do you want a guy that's often injured? I think he's played 27 games the last 3 years.
I don't know.
I mean, it depends on the number. I think we're arguing.
It could mix things up around here. It could mix things up with his career. I don't know. I like him.
It could, but it also. I mean, again, I think that's a numbers thing. I think if he wants a number that's too high, you say thanks for coming out. God bless him. Good night.
Yeah.
You walk away.
Yeah. Well, I like Hendrickson better, but
29 years old, and this is Joey Bosa. 29 years old. He's only played a full season once, twice, 3 times. 21, 19, and 17. He's played 16 games. Because we didn't go to the 17-game season to what, 22?
Yeah, I think it's 3 years of 17.
Okay. He last 3 seasons. Last season, 5 sacks, 6.5 sacks before that, 2.5 sacks before that. He had 10.5 sacks in 21. It's not. I don't really see us doing anything for Bosa. I don't want him.
It's the number. It's going to be the number. He's not going to be somebody that you can sign in the first 2 weeks of free agency. Like, he's going to have, in order for you to sign him at the number you want him at, he's going to have to go through the first month and not get anything close to what he wants, and then he'll take a 1 year prove it deal from somebody. I think that's his best chance. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it is. I think if somebody's really desperate and they believe in him, then go ahead and knock yourself out. But I think his path is a 1 year deal, prove it, and then he gets paid next year.
He's not grabbing no big bags. Them bags ain't gonna be too heavy.
So that's why, I mean, what's the sense? If you think that, honestly, like, if you don't think he can get a big bag, why would he take a multi-year deal at all? You take a 1 year, figure it out, and then now you try to get your multi-year the following season. Or you're going to have to start doing series of single-year deals because you can't stay healthy.
That's the reason I think the deals aren't going to be that big. You're right.
Right, I agree.
8 mil? 10 at the most?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't see why you should give him anything higher than that. But the way these pay scales keep going up and up, you never know, man, what the damn scale is.
And then I was going to say the famous line is, all it takes is one. All it takes is one person to believe or think they can do something, or, you know, believe in their training staff, and they can fix them.
Yep.
Couple of comments real quick. Matty Ice said, if you got ABS, you don't need to pump your brakes anymore. You still got to get the air out of the line, Matty. He said Bosa going to get $20 million despite his injuries. And you know what you're getting with that $20 million? You getting what you think may happen, not what you're going to get. I don't think he's worth $20 million, but I don't have to pay him, so that's not my thing. Richard says, if you're going to go after either one of those two, I would go after Hendricks. J Dub says, I think Bosa wants to play with his brother in San Fran. If San Fran wants to pay, I mean, sure.
San Fran can't pay him. It's not a want to, as they can't. Because that's why they're planning the ship. That's why they got rid of Debo. They're looking at options to move Ayuk, which I think is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I think they're going to start moving in a different direction. I think you're going to see a couple other people with some of those bigger contracts. I mean, you got Greenlaw, who's a free agent. Warner, I think he's a top of the market type of guy.
They releasing one of their tackles. What's the other tackle?
They're releasing one of the tackles.
Yeah, they're releasing one of their D linemen. San Francisco.
It's probably Hargrave.
Yeah, Hargrave. They told him he was going to get released at the beginning of the league year.
Yeah,
and
he's been a flop. I was going to say he's been a flop since he's been there. There's somebody. I mean, they got a bunch of people. They're playing top money. Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle. You know, Ayuk and company. Then you got to pay. And this is the part that the scary part is you're paying a 72 and sunny guy, Brock Purdy, top tier money.
You when you said Juszczyk, that's why I was like, ho. That's what I mean. What that say at the bottom of the screen? Pump your brakes. Juszczyk is the last of a dying breed. He is Scarface, early 2000s. He's the last of his MF and breed. Him and Alan Ricard are your only two true fullbacks you got left in this daggone league.
There's a couple more little fullbacks I've seen this year, but yeah, Ricard and Juszczyk are definitely the top of the fullback totem pole. But yeah, you're right. It's hard to find. They come along few and far between, them kind of players like a Juszczyk.
He could be Jesus Christ and walk on water. They still got to do something with his contract because they got to pay Purdy. So you can take it however you want to take it. You can save him or what. But
I think he's leaving.
They got to
franchise him.
They got to hell no.
You guys say
You got too much other stuff. That's what I'm saying. San Francisco's in a situation where they made the run. They took the chance.
Yep.
It didn't work out. And speaking of which, that might be a topic for next Tuesday. I'll explain the letter in the WhatsApp.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let me say this to you.
What he said.
I'm gonna say this to both of you. You name all these players. You say something about Ayuk. They had a picture of Dan Quinn and Ayuk in the airport. Oh man, we should go after him. So you want to go after? We already got Debo. You got Terry. You got Debo. You want to go after Ayuk. You want to go after DK Metcalf. You want to go after Devontae Adams. And I'm like, okay, you still have to pay Terry. Why are you getting receivers that's going to make more money than Terry, and you still have to pay those receivers when they get here? This is why I'm saying pump your brakes. You're trying to get every shiny thing out there. Now, Jack, you say we always do this.
Yeah.
Our generation, we know better. How many Super Bowls have the Washington franchise, whether it be the Redskins, the football team, or the Commanders? How many Super Bowls have they won on paper in the last 33 years? No, they won plenty on paper. They haven't won any real ones, but they've won Super Bowls plenty of times. This is the same stuff that gets us in trouble. Please, we gotta stop.
91 was a free agent team.
Mm-hmm. Nah,
I don't know. That was all the stars aligning because they became one of the best. I mean, one of the greatest Super Bowl winning teams. That defense, the way it worked, and then they just didn't keep anybody, but they didn't bring anybody in either.
All right, let's talk about it. D line.
Y'all going
Johnson, Fred Stokes, free agents. Linebackers, Matt Millen, free agent. Defensive backs, Mayhew, Copeland, Brad Edwards, free agents.
I like Brad Edwards.
I love Brad Edwards, Danny Carr. I think that's the last time before we had Area 51. It's the last time we had a solid safety combination.
Yeah,
that was just what we call it. That's Plan B. I'm sorry, I was cheating on that one. Go ahead, guys.
But look, I don't see Washington bringing another wide receiver in through free agency. I want to say that's not happening.
And
if they get one late in the draft, but they're not bringing in another wide receiver, man.
I think you got to change it to they're not going to bring in another top tier guy. I think because they got to fill in. I mean, they only have at this point you got Debo, you have Terry, and you have Luke as your wide receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
So you can re-sign them other two folks, the free agents, Crowder and who's that other free agent?
Noah Brown
and Dayami.
I think Dayami still got a year left on his contract.
Nah, Dayami's a free agent.
I thought he had a year left.
It's not like they can't tighten up and just keep in-house.
No,
like you said, a commander, making a commander.
No, all I was saying is
bringing in no more free agent wide receivers.
All right, so I was just saying there's gonna be some free agents their own are some of the guys they need to concentrate on.
Yes, okay.
Or some lower level guys.
Other teams.
Right.
I got you, bro. You right. All right. I see a new viewer in the room today. I just want to say hey, like I do. Richie Paragoy, what's up, buddy? Thanks for checking this out. Hope you like, follow, and subscribe, big guy. Or should I say littler guy? My man's lost some weight. Good job, Rich.
Matty Ice said, I agree. I don't think he's either, but someone will pay him. True.
That's about Bosa.
And let me not gloss over this. Good job, Richard, losing that weight, man. It's a tough thing to do, and I'm proud of you either way. That's awesome. Matty Ice said, I can honestly see the Raiders make a play for him to go with Mad Max, and they just signed Max Crosby. What, 2 years?
It's a 3-year deal. I want to say it's either somewhere between 95 and 105, maybe. It basically works out to a 2-year, $45 million with the guarantees, and the third year is one of those voidable extra years, so you can spread the money out.
Sam checking in. Sam is here.
We
Sam
see you,
slipping.
Sam. We see you.
Sam
Nice to be
slipping.
stand up and be accounted for.
Oh, yeah. He usually one of the first ones.
That's why I said Sam slipping.
He's slipping, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
shoot.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
go ahead
right.
and get on cup number 2. Waiting on
Dayami
y'all.
signed a 4-year rookie contract back in 21. Yeah, this is, but no. But if he signed it in 21, this
Yeah,
should be his last year.
He's a free agent.
Oh God. Okay.
They go that Blainsburg math again.
Yeah, I'm trying to add it up here.
I went to math class.
But with all the moving pieces moving around, now I'm gonna tell you one person that I did kind of pop for a little bit, to use a WrestleManiacs term. I marked out for was Alex Kappa. I was like,
Really?
we're gonna be without Cosme for at least 8 to 9 games. Somebody said, what about bringing back Brandon Sheriff? I don't think that would be smart. As much as I love him, I don't think that would be smart. But I was like, if we got to get somebody to plug and play, I think Kappa's, your guy. But he's gone out to the Raiders for 2 years. But that's out of all of the people that have been talked about with trading, Tyler Lockett was another name that people was like, oh man, we can get Tyler Lockett. We need a veteran presence.
That would be a nice pickup. Cheap and later. But I think he's gonna go on to help someone else.
I don't see the fit.
I don't see it either.
Okay. I'm just saying, if if something happens late and cheap, but I think somebody else needs him more than we do.
He's a good safety blanket.
And I like Lockett.
I like Lockett if we were doing this differently. Because they're talking about, they emphasize they want to arrive violently. They want receivers that can block and be physical. To me, he doesn't fit the thing, and that's where I worry about it at.
Well, he's not a physical guy.
Right. So that's why he automatically is a no for me off the break.
Tyler Lockett is good he's a bear with me, because what I'm about to say is kind of blasphemous, but bear with me. Tyler Lockett he would be your Art Monk guy. It's 3rd and 7, you need 8 yards. Tyler Lockett's the guy to get it, because he's going to do the route, he's going to get open, and he's going to get it. But he's not a yak guy.
That's been our Zach Ertz, is who that's been.
Right. And that's what Tyler Lockett is. Tyler Lockett's your possession receiver. When you need a big catch, he's the guy you go to.
Clutch. Yeah.
Man.
And I see Midnight Ride. I heard the oh God. I wasn't trying to be blasphemous, brother.
Yeah.
I was trying to make some comparison.
I didn't mean to even say it. When you said Art Monk, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
You must be shouting. That's like the Dollar Tree Art Monk.
Well, I said he's your Art. I didn't say he was Art Monk.
No, I know what you're saying.
He was your Art Monk guy. You used him the way you would use the way Art Monk was used when you needed a big catch. You went to James Arthur Monk.
I got you, man. I'm just,
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
It just, my soul just, it was just like.
I wasn't trying to be blasphemous. I swear I wasn't.
No, you weren't. Nah. Interesting movement today was the Jags actually trading Christian Kirk to the Texans for a 2026 7th rounder. Kirk was another one of those names that was bandied about for here. Evan Ingram got released by the Jags. So did Ronald Darby, not Terrence Trent. They redid Deshaun Watson's contract to free up some money. That got a free up type of situation with a restructure. Am I missing anything else?
I think you got the big ones.
You said Kappa, which kind of surprised me after I heard some of his PFF stuff, but
and that right there, I think PFF.
The Bears, Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney, the 2 guards they picked up. They picked up Jackson for a 5th this year, They picked up Thuney for 6 next year. But again, kind of when you start arranging the deck chairs in Kansas City, you couldn't bring Thuney back if you want to franchise tag Trey Smith. So amongst the other things that you got going on. So it's just one of those things where the situation, sometimes you gotta be careful. You know, when you start signing guys and all these guys start getting up there in deals, the issue becomes you got to start letting people go and transition. And I thought that's what they were doing with Payne and company, but it's interesting, man. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll say this. When you talk about PFF, Pro Football Focus, I love it because they tell a story with offensive linemen. When I'm grading the offensive lineman, I go to Pro Football Focus and nowhere else because they're never wrong. When you're talking about defensive linemen, especially interior defensive linemen, I go to Pro Football Focus. That's why I tried to sell you guys on Matt Ioannidis why we needed to keep him, because his Pro Football Focus grade was so high. Same thing with Cosme, same thing with Sheriff. I remember Sheriff was the top rated guard one season. Oh, well, no, he can't stay healthy. Okay, we need new trainers. And it seems like once we got new trainers, things stop happening. But I don't want to take credit for that. I digress.
We're talking about a guard. Guard. But no, you said something about Sheriff. I think, again, we're talking about money here. Like, does he want to do a 1-year deal to come back and maybe end it here? Because he'd be a perfect person to put in place of Cosme, and but I think he's gonna want a consistent role. He's not gonna want to start for 8 games and then go to the bench or replace Allegretti or however you do it. And I think that's the question that becomes more serious for Washington. When we just talk Commanders one day is, and probably soon, is like, what is the shape up? Well, how do you think they're going to shape this offensive line? Speaking of the Commanders, Bobby Wags is back. 1 year, $8 million guaranteed, possibly up to 9.5. And then hold on, let me fix my hair. Because Zane Gonzalez also resigned for 1-year deal, but I think that's more so just to have a definite, and then you figure the rest out.
Somebody's gonna come in, and it's gonna be a kicking competition early in the season, in the preseason. Speaking of, and we got to bring Tress Way back. Tress Way needs to be re-signed too. Midnight Rider, you think you can empty out your bank account for that?
That bank account is already got left.
He waiting on Friday, baby.
The bad thing is next Friday.
Oh shit! You say Allegretti, you got Biotish, and now Sheriff can play center or guard.
Save it.
So you
save it.
All right. Let's get to these comments. Number one, I got a phone call earlier. Mom says hi. She's recovering from knee replacement surgery. She should be back up and running the 40 in a sub 4.4 in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Doctor said she'll be able to punt further, kick further. She'll be able to stand in the pocket and actually throw off that leg a little bit better. So she'll be back on the field in 3 weeks.
Got you, bro.
So shout out to my mom. Sam says Celtics, Pacers, Nets.
I think that's his parlay.
He said, I want to hear Jack do a Science of Parlay segment one of these shows. What? Hey, y'all got the science down. And he said $1.25 tree.
my bad, Sam. I forgot. It got moved up.
And J Dub said Derek White just got his tooth knocked out in the Boston versus Philly game. Wow.
Yeah. They just ran into each other.
Oh, man. All right. Let's jump over to some college basketball. Which one you want to start with? You want to start with the all-time or you want to start with the conference tournaments?
Let's go with the conference tournaments.
Okay. Sam says Speedy Healing Vibes sent out to your mom, KJ. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Sam. A lot, man. A lot. Thank you. All right. Top 4 must-watch conference tournaments. Let me preface this by saying this ain't like it used to be. Nothing in the world was better than those tournaments that we named a couple of shows ago. ACC, SEC, Big East, and it's like pick your poison for whatever else it was. Whether it was it may have been the Big Ten, it could have been the West Coast Conference, it could have been the Pac-12 or the Pac-10 at the time, but it could have been something like that. But this ain't those things anymore. So let's start it. Your top 4 must-watch conference tournaments start with the Gentleman Jack. Number 4. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Is he on mute or is it?
Yeah.
You, yeah, make it
Damn.
faster, man. My bad.
I like what you were saying though there.
What? Number 4. Let's go with the I'm gonna go with this just to show some folks out here in Junkie Land some love. The WAAC conference. That's my number 4 conference championship tournament to watch.
Who's in that?
Ain't that Gonzaga and St. Mary's and all them WAAC?
You've been dumping on that conference the whole season, and now you would have watched their tournament. Oh, talk about chaining the events, boy.
Hey, that was just picking fun, dude. Yep, that's my number 4.
That's the WCC. That's the West Coast Conference with Gonzaga and St. Mary's.
Yeah,
that's West Coast.
Don't forget San Francisco.
Man.
Yep. So drop that one on y'all.
I'm gonna go with the Pac-12. I'm sorry, the Big 12. Because I think Arizona and those schools are in that now. So I want whatever Arizona State is. That's the conference I want.
Yeah, I like Arizona State. They look good.
Yeah, they lost a tough one against AZ the other night. KG. All right, let's go number 3, Jack.
My number 3 is gonna be.
My bad. I'm back.
No, you good.
Take your time,
My
Johnny.
bad.
You
I
have
gotta
a
agree with Jack. My number 4 is the West Coast Conference.
Okay.
Because Gonzaga's out there. Gonzaga's gonna be the heavy favorite, but Gonzaga's not the number 1 team in the conference right now. St. Mary's is. St. Mary's of California. 17-1 in the conference. 27-4 overall. On a 7-game win streak. They're the number 1 team in the conference right now.
Who's in 3rd place in the conference right now?
The San Francisco Dons at 13-5 in the conference, 23-8 overall.
They might draw 3 this year.
Hey, they might draw. Actually, they might draw 5, Jack, because Oregon State and Santa Clara all got 20 wins.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Oregon State being in there. I knew Santa Clara was there. Damn. Then that would make Perry's falsehoods true.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting there griping with me that since 2006, they've been there 5, 6, 7 teams. Since 2006, they've only had 2 teams there, bro. But this would be cool.
If 20 wins get you a bid,
Oregon
State, Santa Clara, What'd you say, Midnight Rider?
I said I don't think 20 gets you a bid. I think that number, fluctuates because we got built-in strength of conference.
Yeah, you got a lot RPI and all that,
right?
But you got 5 teams with 20 plus wins. But I think if St. Mary's doesn't win this tournament, or they don't go far in this tournament, I don't think they get a bid. I think that's gonna be one of those teams we're gonna be looking at in the NIT. Like, why are you even here? But let's go with it. Number 3.
Jack.
My number 3 would normally be my number 1, but they having a down year. My number 3 is going to be the ACC tournament because I love ACC basketball.
My number 3.
And excuse me one more time, Mr. Midnight Rider. And watch out for them Clemson Tigers, man. Duke doesn't have a guaranteed title in this tournament, so Clemson, Virginia's been known to step up and clown around. Louisville's looking good right now. They playing really good right now. So look out for Louisville and Clemson definitely in the ACC tournament. Thank you.
I'm actually looking forward to the Big East. At number 3, and it's because I want to see a couple things because a couple storylines intrigue me. Can Pitino keep this magic carpet ride going? Who is UConn? The question becomes, who is UConn? Is UConn the same team that repeated and can find some postseason magic? Because that's all they got to do. If they can put a couple games together and win a tournament, get themselves an automatic bid, they can take all the questions out of everybody else's hands and go for their three-peat. So that's where I'm at. I think that's why I like the Big East. You got Marquette, who's been banging around. They spent some time in the JC top 10. Providence is always just a hustle team. It's going to be interesting. Get to see what Georgetown wants to do. Can Georgetown be frisky enough?
Agreed. I was kind of milling around, but Jack said, Midnight Rider said Big East. You got St. John's leading it 17-2 overall in the conference, 26-4. You got 5 teams, 20 wins or more from Xavier, UConn, Marquette, Creighton, and St. John's from top to bottom. Villanova and Georgetown kind of on the outside looking in, probably going to be your NIT team from the Big East. And I'm dare I say it, Jack, I think you're right. They'll be in it. Georgetown being an NIT. Only way I can see it.
Well, I definitely think they should get an invite.
That's what Midnight Rider said. Jack said the ACC. I got the ACC in my third as well, because I want to see what Duke can do. Duke is undefeated at home this year, and of course, the ACC tournament is where in North Carolina. Since Charlotte, they're undefeated at home. 20. Yes, always. It's somewhere down in
right. It's somewhere down that way because more than half the ACC is down there. But
no, I thought they started rotating it. I thought they had a 3-spot rotation.
They did
in North Carolina.
They did.
No,
it's doing 2-2 at these Carolina locations. What I looked at earlier, and I don't know. I think they're still pissed off about moving it up the coast, and then Maryland wasn't in the ACC when it came to DC. So after that, I think the scheduling of the ACC tournament might have changed a little bit. Don't hold me to it, but I think I saw this year, next year, same location in Charlotte. Is that where it's at, big guy? And then it also goes somewhere else in Carolina.
Asheville,
Carolina. But I think it's going 2 years there, 2 years there is what I saw on the schedule. I can look into it while we're continuing this list.
So 2025 is Charlotte. 2026 is Charlotte. The Spectrum Center in Charlotte.
Right.
Then it's Greensboro.
And
Greensboro, that's the other one.
Greensboro. And then they haven't announced 2030.
Right.
So it's all North Carolina the next 5 years, just split between Greensboro and Charlotte.
It's been that for the past 3 or 4 years. I'm serious. I think the Atlantic Coast Conference got pissed when Maryland went to the Big Ten after they were scheduled to have a host of the tournament. And where's the ACC? It's in Carolinas. So I think they're going to just – because, I mean, I don't know if it cost them any money because they came here and Maryland wasn't here. I mean, I'm sure there would have been more tickets sold if Maryland was, participating.
But what about the long-standing teams in the conference like Cal and Stanford? We're not going to take it out to the West?
I think that would be ridiculous.
Oh
You're going away from your fan base if you do that.
I do know that was very tongue-in-cheek, right?
I'm going to give you a fist in cheek.
I got to agree with Jack.
So, yeah.
Number 3 ACC, like I said, Duke's undefeated at home. You got again you got 6 teams with 20 wins. You got Wake Forest, UNC, SMU, Louisville, Clemson, and Duke. I think SMU might be knocking on the big dance door. They out there with their blue ruffled butterfly collar tuxedo and the white shoes and the bell bottoms. They ready to go dancing. I think they're going to be on the outside looking in for right now. And if I don't know anything, I haven't seen any RPI reports or bubble team and bubble watch. I ain't seen it yet. I want to see whose bubble gets bust. But moving on, number two.
In basketball,
Gentleman Jack.
Standings. Number 2 squad for me is going to be the Big Ten. The Big Ten, man, that's the place to be. I mean, they're not just a football conference, and it's not Indiana up at the top of this joint. You know what I'm saying? Michigan State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Maryland, all playing pretty good ball. State's taking a licking here this past week, but Maryland, you know, they took a lump on a Hail Mary half-court shot. So watch out for that Big Ten. I mean, even don't sleep on Purdue. I look for exciting. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Big Ten favorite doesn't win this tournament. Terps can do some damage.
My number 2 is the ACC. I mean not the ACC, the Big Ten. Been locked up with Jack on. I already know number 1 is going to be the same. So yeah, being locked up here. Michigan, what he exactly said, Michigan State, Michigan. I think the kicker is going to be which 4 teams get the double bye. If Maryland can get this win, they secure themselves the double bye. And I think that keeps some of the wear off and tear off their legs, because Maryland, like we said all along, the Terps don't have a bench. The Terps are playing 5. They may play guys 6, 7, and 8, but they just there to show. They just there to put minutes down. They're not there to take shots or anything like that. So I think Maryland's one of those teams that they have to get that double bye just to save their legs and minimize the number of games they got to play going forward.
Okay, I go with that.
Couple comments real quick. Matty Ice said, Matt, duh. Number 2.
I know,
Matt.
right?
Jack Wagner says, I haven't gotten into college basketball this year the way that I used to. So many crazy teams, so many different conferences now. Yeah, you got to look at it and double check to see who's in what conference, because everything's changed. Nothing's the same. Maddie says, seriously, it's the SEC and everyone else. No, Maddie. Jeff Ricker said, Terps bench not deep enough. Yep. And we've been harping on that for the last couple of weeks. And on Tuesdays, we do JC's college top 10 with Jack Carr. And he's talked about bench play with Maryland. And when he talks local, he talks about it with Georgetown, Maryland, and a couple of other teams. No bench play. And looking at the Big Ten, you gentlemen talked about it. Michigan State leading it, 14-1 at home, 15-3 in the conference. I didn't know Maryland had such a good home record. Maryland is 16-2 at home, but they're 5-5 on the road.
Yeah, they was undefeated for a minute.
Yeah, they have a really, really good home record. But looking at this conference, Oregon, UCLA, Purdue, Maryland, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Michigan State, all 20-plus wins. None of those teams have less than 22 wins. Well, no, I'm sorry. Purdue and UCLA got 21, but they got worse conference records.
So I think like KG was saying, I mean, Michigan State's been solid. Michigan get a nice rebound from what they were last year. KG, you got your number 2?
My number 2 is the Big East. I was gonna go. I had to swap my 1 and my 2. But my number 2 is the Big East, and it's a little bit of favoritism there. But that's why I said let me drop them down to the Big East so I don't look like a homer. But the Big East, because it's at the mecca of basketball, and of course, my team's playing in it. So, number one,
Derek White might need a whole new mouth.
Wow. You gonna leave me hanging?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Number one.
Oh, number one.
Gentleman Jack.
He said, "You gonna leave me hanging?" Oh, where they at? SEC conference is what I want. The SEC conference this year, I'm telling you, it's NBA minor leagues, man. They're balling. Some of the most high efficiency offenses in the country are in the SEC. Tennessee, Auburn, Florida. It's crazy. I mean, shit, Oklahoma could beat you, man. I look forward to a lot of good ball in this SEC tournament. And don't be surprised in this one as well if the number 1 or 2 team don't win this tournament. I think this is going to be the most competitive tournament with the Big Ten coming in a real close second.
I have the SEC as well. I think I heard a stat the other day that 14 of the 16 teams in the conference has been ranked. I saw a great ball game last night. Ole Miss pulled out and won last night. They had a kid Breakfields drop 19 in the ball game, it was all in the second half. He carried Ole Miss to victory. It was one of those March performances that when the calendar turns to March, great things happen and players make great plays. I mean, barbecue chicken. That's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead, KG.
I'm gonna say this. I'm looking at the SEC as a whole. You only have 2 teams under 500. That's LSU, South Carolina. Overall, under 500. You have, these are the teams with 20 plus wins. Because, we at that time, we had tournament season. So this is the time you talk about 20 wins, which 16 used to get you in the tournament. But we talking about 20 wins because I guess 20 would be 20 to 23 should be your bubble. But 20, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Mizzou, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and Auburn all got 20 plus wins. Man, jeez, I got nothing to say. But I'll give my number one, and I think this will bring some joy to the Midnight Riders' face because it's the Atlantic 10 Conference. VCU's leading the conference at 15-2 in the conference, 25-5. The Midnight Riders, George Mason. What's George Mason's mascot now?
Patriot.
Okay, Patriots. No, that wasn't George Mason. George Washington changed their mascot from the Colonials.
Yeah, I think they're like the Revolution or something.
The Colonials.
No, they were the Colonials. They changed it to something else.
Yeah, I don't recognize that.
Okay.
But Mason, number 2, they're 23-7 overall, 17-1 at home. VCU 15-0 at home. And I don't know. I guess you can call VCU, Mason, and G-Dub local teams. Some people even like to call Richmond a local team. But
hey man, if Virginia Tech can be a home team, anybody within 3 hours can be a home team.
Hey.
But that's another beef for another time.
Their 20-win teams in the A10 are Loyola, St. Joe's, Dayton, Mason, and VCU. But I gotta say this. Shout out to LaSalle. Y'all having a rough season, 4-13, 12-18. I think I still got my letter from LaSalle to come tour the campus. And I actually got an offer to play ball at LaSalle as a walk-on. And I've always had a soft spot in my heart for LaSalle, Hartford, and Catholic. Those are the 3 of the schools that asked me to play ball for them as a walk-on to earn my scholarship. And I was all for it. All for it. I just couldn't afford that semester, but shout out to those teams. But I'm looking forward to the A10 because the A10 is always good. You know, you got teams like St. Louis and St. Bonnie's, Duquesne, UMass, but I think it's going to be good. And I don't know, Mason always comes up. Mason and VCU always come up with wins around this time. So does GW. Seem like it's something about conference tournament in the first couple of rounds, like they sprinkle them wins in and they heavy with it. So I think A10 is going to be my favorite to watch. J Dub says SEC is deep, should be great, should be a great tournament. I hope so. That's gonna be the one that's gonna have everybody's eyes. Matty Ice said bubble teams will be watching Missouri Valley. Drake is 27-3. They can steal it at large if they get an upset. If they're 27-3, I don't know. I see that's that right there. That the politics, I don't like it. But I'm not gonna shake my fist at the clouds. Let's move on.
Nah, Drake has been good in the parlays, just to let y'all know. Drake is my people.
Now, see, we giving y'all 2 top 4s tonight. Tuesday, we're going to come back with 2 top 4s on the women's side. So, your second top 4 that you're getting tonight, your top 4 favorite men's college basketball teams of all time. Number 4. Gentleman Jack, take it away.
Well, this number 4, I put it at number 4 just because you young whippersnappers probably don't know nothing about this. So that's the only reason I put this team at number 4. And that's the Bobby Knight coach, 1976 Indiana Hoosiers, 32-0. 32-0. They had Big Scott May. They had Quinn Buckner. Bobby Knight, like I said, was the coach. They beat Michigan bad. By like shit. I want to say 20 in that game, if I recall. It was like when I first started getting into college basketball about that was 1976, man. I mean, I was knowing about Maryland basketball and Lefty Driesell and all that. My dad had me in that, but to sit down and watch championships, my dad would always say, hey, y'all quiet down. Big games on the night now. We had to get out of the living room. So finally I started coming in the living room and watching them games with him. And one of the first few was probably the World Series that year in 75. Probably the Yankees. And then the Indiana game. And then, I learned so much about Indiana basketball and the history of basketball in the state of Indiana and stuff. And I was just going to the library and checking it out. So I thought that team right there, that's one of my favorite NCAA basketball teams, guys. Midnight Rider, who you got?
Number
4.
Number 4. I'm gonna go with the 99-2000 Michigan State Spartans. Gotta give my boys some love.
Mateen Cleaves?
That's Mateen Cleaves, Mo Pete. That whole team, that team was tough. They'll beat you up for 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You might not score more than 60, but you feel like you've been in a fight.
Yeah. What y'all want to say? You think there'll be any duplications between the three of us?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be close. I'm trying to think. I don't think none of y'all would have this.
I know y'all ain't got my top 4.
Well, you can't be throwing no 1940 shit up there because you ain't see it.
Now I'm only going with what I was alive for.
You can't put 4 Georgetown teams down. You can go through Mutombo and Ewan and all the big boys.
I'm only going by what I was alive for.
All right, partner. What you got at number 4?
Number 4, Final Four team in 2001, the Maryland Terps. They won the BB&T Classic that year. You say what?
I knew you was picking that one.
Why?
Just come on, KG. We know each other on this show, so just go ahead.
The reason why I love this team was for multiple reasons. Number 1, they were exciting to watch. That was number 1. Number 2, I felt like Juan Dixon came into his own that year. The year before, remember, they had Stevie Franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And Francis, it's like he was getting all the shine, but Juan Dixon, him and LaRon Prophet, and I love LaRon Prophet. I've been a LaRon Prophet fan for a long time.
Nice
but they were getting all the shine, and it was kind of overshadowing Steve Blake and Juan Dixon and things like that. And I was like, okay, this team right here with Earl Badu, Mike Martisech was serviceable for me on NCAA basketball 2001 because I would play him and Lonnie Baxter at the same time, and he wasn't scoring on me, and let Terrence Morris be my distributor. I mean my scorer. You had Chris Wilcox, Taj Holden, Coach Taj Holden, Drew Nicholas, Danny Miller. Like I just loved that team. That team was just like, it was it for me, and they were fun to watch. Number three.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 3 for me. I told you 76. I got the bug. So my number 3 team is the 1977 Golden Eagles from Marquette. They were 23-7 that year, coached by the great Al McGuire. I mean, Al McGuire was the shiznit back then. And they had a guy, Butch Lee, Jimmy. I forgot the guy they called Big Jimmy, Bo Ellis. They beat North Carolina that year with Mike O'Korn and what was the guard's name? Walter Davis.
Oh.
So that there was when I started rolling in college basketball, man. Marquette had that boy Whitehead. He was just a rebounding machine. I wish you guys would have seen these two, man. That was some good games there, the 76 and the 77 championship games. That's what I got. What you got at number 3, Midnight Rider?
The 1990 UNLV Running Rebs. Stacey Augman, Greg Anthony, Larry Johnson. I mean, just came out, demolished that Duke team. They should have probably won 2. They should have been back to back, but they didn't because they lost to Duke and they beat Duke. So that's what I got there.
Yeah, they was close with me, man. Really were. Honorable mention list, but they was close.
Okay. Number 3 for me. The 94-95 UCLA Bruins. I'm not going to lie.
Never would have thought anybody was going to say that, man.
Yeah. I said I was a huge Toby Bailey fan.
Oh, that team. Okay.
Like when I tell you the O'Bannon brothers, Toby Bailey, I loved Toby Bailey. Like when Toby Bailey got drafted and he got drafted in Phoenix and he signed a shoe deal with And1. He had a shoe called the Crossover from And1. I went out and bought the shoe. That's what I did. I bought the shoe. That's how much of a Toby Bailey fan I was. Of course, the O'Bannon brothers, like I said, George Zedek, J.R. Henderson, Bob Myers was on that team. Tyus Edney. Cameron Dollar was one. He was my guy. Before there was B. Diddy, Baron Davis, it was Cameron Dollar. And Cameron Dollar used to come up court, and he had this move, and it was so quick. It was almost like the UTEP two-step, but not as effective. And it was just like he'd bring it up, he'd stop. He would come to the top of the key, and it would stop. It's like he would pause, and then he would bow, and he would go right by you. And it was like so pretty. I loved it. That's like my one-off team. The UCLA Bruins of 94-95.
Yes.
Number 2.
Well, since KG duplicated my number 2, I should be able to throw 5 more teams in my number 2 slot.
Nah, go with it.
I can put 95 UCLA. I loved it. Ed O'Bannon, he balled out that game and just controlled it. They beat the defending champion Arkansas Razorbacks in that game. So Arkansas was
That's
going for
another
a
reason because I hated Arkansas.
And
I hated Corliss Williamson.
Yep. And I like Coach Jim Herrick over there, UCLA. So yeah, that was my number 2. What do you got, Midnight Rider, number 2?
Forgive me if I get the years wrong, but the Florida Gators, I want to say it's the 05-06 team.
You talking Donovan?
On the Donovan with Horford,
And
Joakim Noah.
Noah, yeah.
That was one of the squad years that I felt like a team won the championship. It wasn't because of a great player or any standouts.
They weren't the best team. They played the best as a team.
There you go.
I agree with you, Midnight Rider. They were really, really up in my list. Like I say, I started with 10 and narrowed it down to 4. Them and UNLV were right there on my list. So yeah, good selection there, man. They won back-to-back as well.
Yep.
Number two for me. Not overall a great team. They made the tournament, only made it to the round of 32. And that was the number 8 ranked Georgetown Hoyas. You had Rejection Road with Mutombo and Morning.
Yes, sir.
Ronnie Thompson was on that team. That's Coach Thompson's son. Antoine Stoudemire, David Edwards, wasn't a bunch of names, but this is one of the things that we talk about on this show. And the Midnight Rider be like, what are we doing here? They won their first 14 games playing Hawaii Loea in the Hawaii Loea Classic, Hawaii Pacific, Florida International. They beat North Carolina in the ACC Big East Challenge. They beat Rice, St. Leo, UDC, Virginia Tech, Northern Iowa, Boston College, Providence, Pittsburgh, DePaul, and Boston College again. They didn't lose a game until January 20th against Connecticut. Those late 80s, early 90s teams of Georgetown, that's all we used to watch during the week. That was the basketball we had on Fox. I'm sorry, that wasn't Fox. It was Fox, but used to watch Georgetown basketball on WTTG, and they used to always talk about playing Derek Coleman and what's Derek Coleman going to do against Alonzo Mourning.
So your number 2 team is a team that didn't even win the chip?
He had 2 teams that ain't win a chip.
The Turks didn't win it. They made the Final Four and only got one team on my list that won the chip. I'm not no front runner level. The hell?
It's called favorite basketball teams all the time.
Yeah,
my favorite
chips, but I did not.
My favorite.
Say it.
I misread the list. I apologize.
No, you didn't. You read it like
you did your favorite.
KG too busy going back into getting the cobwebs off everything.
Exactly. All right, then you know what? I got a number 1 then.
Number 1.
Number one. Go ahead.
Good, Jack.
KG, I agree. As much as I disliked Georgetown, I think it's a me and Jack Wagner thing. He liked Georgetown. I didn't. Duke was good. Georgetown was good. They had some good teams. And at the number 1 spot, I need to throw 1991, 1992, 2001, 2010, 2015 up in there. Bam. But I'll pick one. I'll pick one out of that. Everybody knows what those years were, right? Blue Devil championships. I'll go with the 92 team. Leitner, Hurley, Grant Hill, Cherokee Parks, Thomas Hill, and my boy Brian Davis, who went to Bladensburg High School. That team, they blew Michigan out. Shut Michigan down. Michigan only scored 51 points in that championship game, man. Duke beat them by 20. And this is the second year of the repeat. So they were defending champions, and they came in and spanked the hell out of Michigan. Bobby Hurley had like 7, 8. He had a nice assist game. I know Grant Hill, he had 18, 10, and 5. I remember that line from everywhere. Grant Hill was just all world in that game. So that's my favorite squad, the 92 Duke Blue Devils.
Well, since the criteria is not what I thought the criteria was, my number 1 team is the 1993 North Carolina Tar Heels with the infamous win against Michigan on the last second timeout by one Chris Webber. That team again is another one of those teams that, as a whole, the sum of their parts were better than them individually for sure. Donald Williams comes out, wins national, outstanding player of the tournament with a 23-point performance. That team was just amazing in all rights. I just, if we gotta go with our favorite team, that's my favorite one. I enjoyed that. That team was special. Montrose, we just had a good squad. We took on a scrappy Michigan team. I think they were called the Fab Five. They were the Fab Five at that time. Yeah. So it was a good ball game. Shout out to Miss Dolores Carroll for that. She was the inspiration behind that thought process. Tip of the cap. Sideline junkies. It never happened. Oh, it happened.
You gotta go up some of them comments. I'm getting some props.
Oh no, I know. I'm gonna get to that. But he
don't miss my props, man.
You know why I said that? J-Dub, the Ewing years at Georgetown were marvelous, even though we only got one title.
True that.
Yeah. No, they was tight. They was feared.
I'm sorry. My wife just floated into the room and she just looking just so gorgeous.
All right, you can go ahead and black out the screen again.
Maddie said 2002 Kent State for me. First mid-major to get to an Elite Eight. Hoffman at the point. Antonio Gates down low. Had Indiana on the ropes until a non-call on Gates causes a 5-point swing. Damn near got to the Final Four.
And that's Gates, the tight end too, right?
Yep. Yes. Never played football.
Right.
Until he got to the NFL.
He's 6'8".
Said my favorite was the Patrick Ewing years and teams at Georgetown. Maddie said, I hate to say it, but Michigan Fab Five was a damn good team too. I'll get to that in a second, Maddie. 91 through 93 Duke with Grant Hill, Christian Laettner has been mentioned. That was magical. That's what Sam said. He said, oh, Jack got the same idea. I give it to you. And of course, I had to chime in with it never happened. And my number one team.
What never happened?
Well, y'all knew.
Give me a second, I'll explain it.
Y'all knew I was going to have a Duke squad in there. You probably thought I was going to have all four, but I didn't want to do that and leave one out. So I ended up giving them all five that.
If I have to pick my number one favorite team, it would be the 92-93 Michigan Wolverine team. Actually, it was before that. It was the 91-92 team. The 92-93 team. The Fab Five period was a cultural phenomenon in my household at that time.
It was all over the country.
From the ball head to the black socks to the long shorts, did it all. Every Christmas break, I would go at the beginning of Christmas break in school. I would go to the barbershop, bald head. My grandmother would say, why do you cut your hair like that in the wintertime? Because they give it a chance to grow back before I go back to school, but I'll be fine. I bald head. Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard. It's my guys, man. And that night, I tell this story every April 5th when we do a show to fill everybody in that's never heard the story with my mom. That's my mom, Dolores Carroll, that Midnight Rider just loves my mom so much because of this story.
No, I love your mom but this story just puts in folklore with me. That's all.
Okay. April 5th, 1993. I'm 11 years old. I'm a big Fab Five fan. I'm sitting up. That was a Monday night. We on spring break. I'm at home for once. So I'm sitting up. I'm watching the game. We going. I'm like, all right, Michigan got this. So when it got close and they inbounded the ball to Webber and Webber stopped and he dragged the foot, I was like, oh, no. And when he raced up court and he called timeout, I was like, no. And I fell on the floor and they called the tech. So when they called the tech, I was down on my knees, said, all right, he's going to miss these 2 free throws. We still got a shot. Hit the free throws. They lose the game by what, 4?
Something like that.
Yeah.
No, they lost by 6. They lost 77-71.
Right. I think there was another foul.
Yeah.
When that horn sounded and Chris Webber hit the floor, I was in the floor too. When I tell you I was boo-hoo crying like I had just lost my best friend. My mother was asleep because she had to go to work. She said, "Are you crying?" Through my tears and through my anguish, I said, "Yes." She said, "Go to bed." Okay. I went in my room and I cried myself to sleep.
Man, what was you like 9?
I was 11.
11? Yeah, because I gotta say, I was high school.
Mom's went to North Carolina that weekend. That following weekend, she went to North Carolina. She left on Friday. She came back on Sunday. And I've been moping all week. Not going outside. My friends knocking on the door. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm sitting in the room in the dark. I'm in mourning. She comes back from North Carolina that Saturday. "Hey, Ma." She said, "I got you something." She gives me this paper bag. I pull out the shirt out the paper bag. I unfold it. It says North Carolina Tar Heels National Champs. And it has all the years that they won the championship listed on it at the bottom. But the fresh one that says 93, it's raised. So you can rub your hand over it and it's raised. And I looked at my mother, and I've never said this before, and I never said it since. I said, "I don't want that." My mother said, "Why not?" I said, "It's a North Carolina t-shirt." She was like, "You gonna wear it?" I was like, "No, I'm not." My grandmother looked at me and she said, "Say thank you." She said, "No." I said, "Say thank you." Thank you.
I can't.
And I took the shirt in the room and I stuffed it in the drawer.
Can't wear no Carolina stuff. No.
When I tell you, it was like having a scab on a wound that just started to scab and somebody just yanked the scab off. I was back in the room crying again. When I tell you that's one loss, and it took 30 years for me to kind of sort of get over it, but I don't remember if you guys remember this show on Fox Sports Net. What was it? 5 Things. And they was talking about 5 things that the reason why, these 5 reasons why that night never happened. And the number one reason was that game was vacated. That whole entire season was vacated. So it never happened. That is the only solace I have in life to kind of cope with that pain. And that's why I say it never happened, because of that.
It did happen.
Show.
I mean,
and everything going on.
You was 11, man. I'd have had that leash shook off by the time I was 17, 15. Shit. I mean, how long it take you shake something off?
Jack, I'm talking 30 years.
Wow. I mean, it was emotional. I mean, seeing a player go through that, but court awareness, baby, court awareness.
But
then you got one teammate saying you got timeout, you got a coach
and
saying
one saying you don't.
So it was crazy, and you felt for the guy, but Carolina wasn't no chumps. That was a solid, and I hate giving Carolina that, but that was a solid squad.
But that wasn't even the squad that could have been would have destroyed that squad, and the squad that could have been if Rasheed
might have been too big.
No, it would have all worked out. Excuse me, Rasheed Wallace. Who was it? Rasheed Wallace, Jerry Stackhouse. And those guys would have stayed.
I think Black was there, right?
Yeah.
No, Black wasn't there. That's Black is way earlier.
That was way okay.
Point guard with Wallace and them and Stack.
Probably either
Felton
or Felton.
Yeah, one of those.
If they would have stayed one more year, because they were all underclassmen. What was that, 94, 95? If they would have stayed that 95 year?
No, it was 93, 94.
Mm-hmm.
It was?
I think so, because it was back-to-back years for y'all.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Was Montrose on that team?
He had already walked. He had already gone.
Oh, okay. No, me and Jack was thinking about that.
But if they would have stayed, I'm trying to pull it up now while I'm talking to y'all. If they would have stayed that year, that one more year, they would have probably had the greatest lineup of talent of all time. Because you would have had Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Ed Cota, Shammond Williams, all those guys coming in, and you would have had Stackhouse, Rasheed, all those guys. That was 94, 95.
I think you crossed some roster somewhere.
Yeah, but that's what you would have had, because all those guys were freshmen coming in. If they would have stayed one extra year. Because I think Rasheed left as a junior. I think Stackhouse left as a junior. But either way, if these guys would have stayed, you would have had like quite possibly one of the best North Carolina teams of all time. It probably would have rivaled the 82 team.
I don't think that team would have worked. Oh, that team was McGinnis and Phelps. Jack.
Got it. McGinnis was nice too. Now you always had nice guards, but it seemed like they always stayed there like 7 years. Like Ed Cota, I thought he was never going to leave.
I thought about Chris Duhon.
Black, all of them, man.
What's the other dude that used to smack the floor that's now the coach at
Wojciechowski?
Yeah, Wojo.
Battier.
I swear Wojo had 8 years of eligibility.
That's the way it is when you start as a freshman, man, back then and played 4 years. It did. It seemed like you were there forever. But we don't see a lot of 4 year. But I tell you though, I'm gonna take that back, man, because you look at Alabama, Arkansas. There's several teams that got senior leadership, and I'm talking about more than 3 in the starting lineup is what I like to see.
But some of that's COVID based, some of that's NBA draft based now.
Oh yeah, we still got a lot of 6-year guys here, a lot of 25-year-olds in here. Yeah.
And then other than that, you also got the fact that now, if you're not Euro, you got to be elite. Like you got to be one and done. The second you return for your second year, as a college prospect, you probably won't get another solid look until your junior year, if that. Like you got to be really good your sophomore year to get a second look in the NBA for an NBA team. It just doesn't happen that way anymore.
Hope they don't stop looking at Cooper.
Cooper's not coming back.
I wish you would. I went through the same thing with Zion. I hate seeing all these good players come through the program, and I get to see them once in the Duke colors at the Duke floor in the Cameron. It's just crazy nowadays. You don't get that chance to follow a career.
Yeah.
Okay, 93, 94. You had Montrose as a senior. You had Jeff McGinnis, Derek Phelps, Rasheed Wallace as a freshman, Stackhouse as a freshman. So it was later on down the line.
Stack was nasty.
Yeah, he was. He was like that. But if they would have stayed, because you got Shamon Williams the following year, Maktar Endai. What's his name? How you say his name? I can't never get his name right. Maktar
Endai.
Well, Shamon Williams left quick too, didn't he?
I think he only stayed 2.
He wound up. I thought he was going to be better in the league. I'm not even going to lie.
Me too. Me too.
I think the problem
is that high school,
they were good passers and good ball handlers. They just weren't great shooters.
But
you're right.
You lost. Okay, after if they would have stayed, if Stackhouse and Rasheed would have stayed after the 94-95 season, because they left and went to the draft as sophomores. Right. They left and went to the draft. But if they would have stayed that following season, that was when Vince Carter came in.
Yeah, I was about to say,
you still had Shamon Williams. You had Adamola Okalaja, who was one of my favorite North Carolina players. Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson. They would have all played together. So you would probably have an all-star starting 5.
You'd have had too many guys, 2 alike, playing the same positions and wanting touches. I think that would have imploded.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
But you got to also remember, you still under Dean Smith.
Don't matter. Sometimes the team can have too many bullets in the chamber.
And then the year after that, you got Ed Cota.
If you got
I don't want to go too far, but just
get over this now.
You know where development is now. You look at, say, back here, 82, 83, and these guys are waiting until their senior year. I mean, sophomore year. They're trying to get a couple years, and that used to be the footprint. Developing college before you go to pros, but now they're developing so young at AAU and all that. that I think they're more ready for the league than players back then were. Not that I'm saying it's right for an 18, 19-year-old to go to the pros. I really think they should hone their game, but that money draws them more now too.
I'm gonna agree and disagree with you, but I'll say that content for the
They
summer.
wasn't developing as early back then like they are now. Is that a part you would disagree with?
Let's just say I agree and disagree, and we'll say that for a later show.
But let me say this, and then we can move on. If everything would have, if Stackhouse and Wallace would have stayed, you would have had Stackhouse at the 2, Wallace at probably the 5, Antoine Jameson at the 4, Vince Carter at the 3, and Shamon Williams at the 1. And then you still got Ed Cota coming off the bench to back it up. I'd have ran with 6 guys and ran everybody off the court with that. And then you still got Adam Okalaja coming in, Matt Tarr coming in. I'm looking Terrence Newby, Scott Williams. You got guys coming in that can fill in to make that bench deep. I've always thought it could work, but one day we're gonna have to sit down. That's an off-season topic. One day we'll have to sit down and just like piece that together. And I would love to hear your thesis on how that wouldn't work.
Okay.
Can you promise to bless me with that this summer?
Yeah.
Okay. Sam said KG's story reminds me when I asked my mom for gummy worms from the corn lady, and she only bought me 2 worms. I threw a tantrum and said I didn't want them. Jack Wagner, J Dub said Eric Montrose. He said I knew Montrose played with Stackhouse and Rasheed Wallace. So,
yeah, but not on that championship team. I don't think Montrose was there.
Montrose is on the championship team.
He's on the championship team. The other 2 aren't there. That championship team really was a bunch of regular guys. It's like George Lynch, Dante Calabria, Donald Williams, guys, Phelps, McGinnis. It's just a bunch of guys, but like I said, they just fit.
Right.
And they had a nice run because they beat a tough Cincinnati team. And I think once they beat Cincinnati, I think that's where they got all their confidence. Because I don't think they should have beat Cincinnati, to be honest with you.
And that was a 34-14.
Yeah.
34-4. Jeez. All right. Midnight Rider, you got any update on the OV watch before we get out of here?
Yeah, real quick. We're down to 9. It's now 9 to tie. He scored a goal last night against the Rangers. The goal came with some, let's say, a little controversy.
Talk about it.
One of the national announcers, Darren Payne, made a comment basically to the effect that he called Ovi a one-trick pony. He kind of said it was it's easier now for players to score than it was back in the day because of some of the rule changes that he cited.
Oh, Lord.
It was one of those conversations. And I think this is part of the problem. And I don't say it because I don't think it. I know it's part of the problem. Part of the problem with hockey and why it won't grow is Canada won't let it grow. The Canadians, when they in their commentary and all that stuff, they only acknowledge themselves and they don't allow the other countries respect their players or hold them in the same regards. And I think that's one of the holdups. When you watch this, like Caps fans are dreading, the fact that the national media is probably going to call this game and you won't get Joe Beninati and Craig Laughlin during the game. You won't have that local feel. And it's a good thought process, but I think it's a little crybaby-ish at the same time. Like most games and most big plays and moments, the national media is going to be there. As long as it fits in the schedule, you're going to get the national media, the top guys. We had the beauty and the luck of being the Redskins, Commanders, or whatever they were called, the night that Drew Brees broke the passing record. It was a Monday night, national televised game. But I think it's different when it comes to basketball and hockey because they got so many games, they can maneuver the games around to get the game they want on national TV. So that's just how I saw it playing out. I think every show from the Junkies to the Sports Junkies. I'm not sure if Kevin Sheehan covered it. I know Chris Russell didn't mention it too much. And then I know Grant and Danny had like segments talking about it. But yeah, it took the world by storm. And I got to give Darren Payne a shout out because he's smart. Like, if you think about it, in this area, it's amazing how the commentators can say one little thing and it becomes the story for at least 2 or 3 days. And if they weren't known, they get known. It's like they just get this nice rub from being a jerk to the DC audience, and boom, here we go. Let's see. Dougie Rome in the house. The 1994 Blue Chip squad from Western U in LA had game before the NIL. Matty Ice.
That was Matt Nolte, wasn't it?
Canadian media does shit on non-Canadian players. And I just think that hurts the game itself. It's the only sport that restricts its players by the way they cover their players. Right. Even baseball isn't this bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and I would love to hear Matty on Monday during the drive time kind of just get into some of that, because I think we would have some of the same thoughts on that topic. I'd love to see that. Love to see him go into that. Let's see. What do we got banner-wise? Oh, there you go.
I'm with you. Maddie said agree. Canadian media does shitting on non-Canadian players. I took offense to that, but did y'all get the Doug's comment?
Yes.
Yeah, we got Doug.
94 Blue Chip.
That's that Nick Nolte movie, right?
Yes, indeed. I'll never forget that movie because moms took me to see that. She took me to see that movie. So shout out to my mama for always taking me to see all the sports movies. Mighty Ducks is another one. 2001 Blue Devils, my favorite player, Battier with Boozer, Duhan, Dunleavy, and don't ever forget Williams. Sheldon Williams.
I like Dunleavy, though. That's a coach's kid all the way. That boy just had perfect form, man. Ooh.
Sheldon Williams, Mr. Candace Parker.
Sheldon Williams got it done, bro.
Yeah, but to be undersized. He was
on him all the time, man. Sheldon Williams, man, he got it done.
Sheldon Williams was he was a root canal player down low. And what I mean is he always created space. He cleared out everything, created space. He was what Clark Kellogg called a root canal player. Mm-hmm. Before we get out of here, let's show the NBA some love.
That's where I wanted to go real quick.
We got a standing Blue Magic guarantee. It's something I stand by. The Cavaliers are going to win 60 is the Blue Magic guarantee. They are 52-10 and they've won 12 straight.
What they got left? 14?
No. 15? They still got a whole 20 games left.
Oh, shit. Sound like I'm buying a cheesesteak.
We still playing 82 games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they only played 62. They still got 20 games left to win 8.
Yeah, no, I got it here. They got they won 12 straight. They clinched. Kevin Love was welcomed back to Cleveland last night. He had been gone 2 years. He's been in Miami, but he hasn't been able to play at the games in Cleveland yet. So it's been over 2 years since Kevin Love been to Cleveland, and they showed him some big love last night.
Here's something I wanted to ask you guys. With this Luka trade to LA went
We're going 2 hours now. Here we go.
It's just quick. LA has been 4-5. Now they're the number 2 team in the conference, 39-21, 11 games out of first. I don't think they're going to catch the Thunder, but they're 11 games out of the first. They've won 7 straight. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Do you think the NBA, i.e. Adam Silver, flipped the switch to put LA in this position so we can get an LA Celtics final? I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
That's all I gotta say. Huh.
If that's the level of conversation we're gonna have,
haters.
I'm gonna have this comment. I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's my comment.
Oh, I gotta say on it, huh?
That's crazy. Man, people, I don't care. I mean, because it always seems like when we make a move, it's always something up, and the league is rigging something. But Danny Ainge gets every draft pick from the Brooklyn Nets for like 20 years in purgatory almost. And it's always a great move. But every move we do is robbery. Again, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Forgot what we talking about. Don't turn that mute off.
I wasn't even talking. I was handling something else. But I don't want to put you in that position like that. Matty Ice said Panga got scored on a lot by 99, so he could be biased. J Dub said, "Let's go LA, beat New York. Lakers versus Knicks. Luka and LeBron gonna do their thing."
Knicks ain't doing nothing against top teams this year, man. You ain't got to worry about it.
No, they're not. Maddie said, "I'm all in for a Cavs Lakers final," and I think that's maybe where it's going. Mm-hmm. Show can't improper till KG sings some Boys to Men. I think that's a request.
No.
J Dub said, who did that tell you that the Lakers were going to get JC? You told me I was crazy.
Yeah, you still want to bet?
Let's look at the Eastern Conference real quick. The Bulls are sitting in the 10th spot. Hawks 9, Magic 8, Heat 7, Pistons 6, Pacers 5, Bucks 4, Knicks 3, Celtics 2, Cavs 1. If it came down to it, if the season ended today, those are your playoff teams. In the Western Conference, Mavs is sitting at 10, 32 and 31. Kings 9, Clippers 8, Timberwolves 7, Warriors 6, Rockets 5, Grizzlies 4, Nuggets 3, Lakers 2, Thunder 1. I've noticed nobody's really talking about the Nuggets. The Nuggets are like, if you've ever seen the Tom Cruise movie War of the Worlds, the Nuggets are like the machines that come up from under the ground. You don't know they're there, and they just gonna come up and they just start slicing heads. That's what the Nuggets are.
That fourth quarter last night was unreal. They took over, balled them by like 15 after that,
and they're 7-3
it killed my parlay.
10. Oh my!
Yeah,
they're 7-3 in their last 10.
Yep.
But now nobody's talking about the Grizzlies losing 4 straight.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody's talking about that, and the Rockets losing 3 straight.
Well, they're not talking about that because the Lakers is winning. You know what I'm saying? It looks like the Lakers are doing all this climb by themselves, but the Cats that was above them have lost 4 to 5 straight. So it makes it look like the Lakers are so fast climbing, but really they're not. I didn't think. Who did you say? Memphis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think Memphis should have been up there anyway. And you was talking about the East. You cannot leave this NBA segment without talking about what the Boston Celtics did last night.
All right, guys, that's a great show. No.
Peyton Pritchard and Derek White combined to be the first Celtic duo to score 40 plus. I find that hard to believe. You'd figure out of all the Celtic greats, but scoring wasn't like it is today. So the multiple 30s is there, I'm sure. Derek White had 41 points on 9 3-pointers. Peyton Pritchard had 43 points on 10 3-pointers and 5 assists. Pritchard became the first ball player to get 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 threes in a regulation game. It's been done twice in an overtime game by James Harden and I think Kawhi. Or no, the Dame. It was Dame. And I mean, I saw they came out hot because the starting lineup was all on the bench. I think maybe JB might have been the only starter on the court for Boston last night. But I put Pritchard down for 25. I knew he was going to get the shots, and he went above and beyond. And otherwise, I got news about Giannis. He's hit the 20,000 point club, the sixth youngest to reach that. LeBron, KD, Kobe, Wilt Chamberlain, and Mike Jordan are the only other players to do that. And then I'd like to do a rookie look here soon, guys, for possibility maybe rookie of the year. So let's talk about that in the chat. Okay. That's what I had, KG.
All right. Well,
did y'all see all that info? I know KG seen. I mean, I know Midnight Rider saw it about the Boston game last night. Boys were shooting.
Well, I mean, that's the rebound from that game the other night where they was talking about it was over against Cleveland, and Cleveland came back.
Oh, shut up.
Put it on their head.
That was me. I still haven't watched that show. See Maddie talking about me.
Sam said I was going to say Denver too. Denver. Nobody's talking about certain teams, and I get that. Like the Magic have lost 4 straight. Everybody was talking at the beginning of the season how the Magic was like this up and coming young team, and they was gonna knock people's heads off. And then Denver just got off a losing streak. They just won one, but they, like I said, they're 7-3 in their last 10. Not bad, but they can't win on the road. They're 19-13 on the road, but they're 21-9 at home. Just like the Lakers can't win on the road. Lakers are 24-7 at home and 15-14 on the road.
I don't understand it. Sometimes they can win on the road. Sometimes they can't. I don't understand. When you're a professional, I'm sorry, the road shouldn't be any different. Ain't like you going to some slumming ass gym down in Palmer Park or something. Hey,
whoa. Time out. Wait, hold it. Watch your mouth now. Watch your mouth.
All right. Ain't like you going to some slumming gym in PG County. I mean, you ain't going to Anne Arundel County gyms every night.
Okay, because I mean that gym in Palmer Park, I honed my skills. I learned how to play the game in that park and in that gym, the original one before they tore it down and rebuilt it.
Just do a name out
on that score.
Just do a name out from round the way. Wasn't really picking on nobody.
J Dub said if they meet in the chip, JC, you know it's on.
Hey, we there, baby. I'm ready to bet right now. We there.
And it seems like. Go ahead.
Will LeBron stay healthy? I'm giving LeBron that, okay? I'm giving him props. 42 freaking years old. He's got 50,000 points, dude. That's sick. But, you know, he going to score 51,000. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is now. All right, LeBron got all the records.
I don't like the simple fact that even though LeBron has scored 50,000 points, everybody wants to crown him. No,
it's amazing. It's an amazing number.
It's a longevity thing.
I don't think it's going to be reached.
No, unless you get more players that play as long as he has at that level. Go ahead.
It's going to go in the lures of the Cal Ripken, the hit streak, the Joe DiMaggio, or it's going to go I'm talking about the consecutive game hit streak, which I don't think is ever going to be touched.
56 games.
Yeah, so I think that's where LeBron James is going to. Because I mean, I think, barring a major injury, I think LeBron's got 3 more in him. I think he can play till he's 45. And that would give him an opportunity to let him bring another James into the Lakers organization, because Bryce will probably be up in 2-3 years. Well, you think, Midnight Rider? Stop being quiet. When you quiet, I get shook.
Well, man, I just think, both teams play hard. And I'm just here so I don't get fined, man.
Oh, you
asshole. Nah, I mean, to Xavier's point, it ain't nothing to talk about. It's the Clippers. With Jack says we still need a few more pieces, but I like our chances this year. We'll only get better. I mean, we got what we got right now, and you can't add nothing else. We passed the trade deadline, so I mean, we see what's gonna happen. I mean,
Clippers Clippers inconsistent.
I mean, I think the Clippers are inconsistent. I think Denver is that team that they got enough where they're comfortable with whoever they play against, so they don't need to run out here and be the number one seed. Their question is going to be: can their role players will they show up, and would Jamal Murray shows up in that section?
Can they show up enough to win a 7-game series? Is what they need to do, and I just don't think they got that.
The East, I mean, I think it's a turd in the pool once you get past 4. I don't think anything after 4 is a threat. I was trying to be nice, Jack. I really was.
Hold on, you talk about the Clippers.
I can say 2.
Let me give Xavier.
Xavier. Xavier.
Yeah, it's Xavier. When he talk about the Clippers, it's Xavier.
Okay.
Let me do this. You got James Harden, you got Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, Ivan Zubac.
Powell's out.
Ben Simmons, Chris Dunn,
Powell's out.
You got Bogdan Bogdanovic, Cam Christie, Amir Coffey, Nicholas Batum, Derrick Jones, Jordan Miller, Trenton Flowers, Patty Mills, Kobe Brown, Drew Eubanks, Patrick Baldwin, and Seth Lundy. What are you winning with that? Oh wow, you win 30-something games. Oh,
don't party.
Let me explain something to you, son. And I'm saying this directly to you live and in living color. If your goal is to win 30-some games, you doing this all wrong. I grew up, my team won 50 plus every year when I was growing up. My team is considered the greatest team of all time because 72-10 sounds a lot better than 73-9 because 73-9 don't have that ring to it. Get like me. That's all I'm gonna say. Get like me.
Hey, we don't want Xavier. We want Meatloaf.
Meatloaf done gone home.
Oh,
probably got in the bed, man. I was trying to get her here. She was here, and her mom was like, "She gotta go." Her girl on the house. I wanted her on too.
And the Celtics are blowing the Sixers out right now.
Yo, this is
that a flex, Jack?
This is god awful.
What?
But is that a flex? Is my question. Is that a flex?
No.
Exactly.
And your Bulls are trying. They trying. They scoring a lot of points, man. 120 points already. Wow.
They probably gave up 140, but
nah, not this time. It's a 1-point game.
Okay.
3 minutes left.
There's J-Dub. LeBron doing is crazy and unmatched. To be able to do what he does for as long as he has done it at the top level. True that. Sam R, boy. He always catches the
God damn it.
A turd in the pool will always float until you grab that floating tube and stick a AA battery in it. Okay, I don't know.
I don't even want to know. You know what?
I don't even know what he working with.
Wrap that shit up, B.
Wrap it up.
No, I just say let's get ready for the conference tournaments. You know, you got some of the lower levels that are starting already. And then you have some final games this week, some big matchups, rivalry games. Your Alabama, Auburn, your Duke, Carolina, just a bunch of games that normally mean something, where we don't know what they're going to mean to both teams.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something to you because I keep getting whisper comments from my left side of the studio here.
Tell them to step.
I love you too. The whisper comments. We top 10 in the conference. Dog, you're number 8. Let me see.
Let's not. No.
You're almost playing.
Playing.
Yeah,
you're in the diet playoffs right now. That's true. And you're in the diet playoffs. They had to water down the league so y'all can make the playoffs. I remember when the Clippers only made the playoffs once in the 90s, and that was 97. That was their best team with Eric Piakowski, Pooh Richardson, Lamar Murray, and Loie Vaught. That was y'all best chance. That was the best Clippers team ever.
You got controls, cut them out.
It's all good.
I'm sorry.
We got to air family laundry on the big network.
No, I'm gonna give you my wrap it up. It's March Madness, man. It's starting. So I hope you enjoy the ride through the tournaments with us. We're going to try and keep you as updated and informed as we can. And it's my favorite. It's my favorite time of the year. It's my Super Bowl. It's my Disneyland. I love March Madness. So let the games come, man.
Well, I got to piggyback off what Jack said because I feel the way Jack do. I haven't been this excited since last year this time. So I'm with Jack. Like, I'm already trying to plot my days in 2 weeks, how I can get to see every game. Like, I'm taking tablets and laptops and everything to work with me so I can have everything across the dashboard and everything so I can do what I got to do and drive down the street and watch basketball. That's all. So I am excited. We still trying to work on it where if we can do something with a streaming service and we can do a watch party and just get on live and just watch a game.
Oh,
at least for the championship game on the 5th. I would love to do a Facebook Live in the group with everybody on the live. Like, I mean, if we can get as many people on the screen as possible to watch this game and just chill and talk and just do live commentary, I would love to do it. So everybody listening, look out for that. And we just get on the screen and just chop it up. Because it's a way that even if we're in different states, we can all be together and just have fun with this game and this tournament because that's what it's all about.
And we're going to be putting out a bracket pick'em, right, fellas?
Of course.
Yeah.
Sideline Junkies bracket pick'em. Let us know if you want to invite, or maybe we can put it on the Sideline Junkies 24/7 page.
It always goes on the page. I normally put it on the 24/7 and the podcast page.
Got you.
Try to post it with the password for the thing. And all you gotta do is click the link, and then jump in and then create your team and make your picks, and you're good to go. And we'll do one for the men's and the women's like we always do. So that way everybody can get something. You can make your picks. And only other thing I gotta say is shout out to our in the passenger seat guest last night, Mr. Rick. What was Rick's last name?
Rick Peacock.
I wanted to call him Patterson. I knew I wasn't right. Rick Peacock, great show. Had a lot of good conversation. If you are a coach, probably the last 20 minutes of that, if you just wanted to focus in on that, I say watch the whole show.
Great coach.
Like and subscribe. But if you're a coach and you want to understand what being a coach is, that last 20 minutes was phenomenal. And I think everybody tried to repost the show yesterday. It was funny to me because I kept getting notifications, and I'm like, I got a notification of someone tagging me in a post that we just posted. So it was good times, man.
Yes, sir. I agree.
And with that being said, next up, Saturday morning, Gridiron, 11 a.m., the greatest fictitious college football show in the world, Craig.
Craig.
Number 2 on the sheet is the WrestleManiacs coming to you Saturday night. Next up, Sunday morning, the Sunday Rise. After that, Monday, we got Drive Time. Then you get Tuesday, you get the Tuesday night flight. Wednesday in the passenger seat, and then you're right back here on Friday Eve.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't do it any better. So, for the Gentleman Jack, for the Midnight Rider, I'm the big guy KG. As always, Big John behind me. We are out of here.